Rockstar Games, a name that once upon a time was used as the pinnacle of innovation and quality, with extremely loyal fans that were willing to purchase all of their products and stand by their side, in less than 2 years has turned into one of the most despised and disappointing developers, mocked and hated for numerous reasons by its once most loyal fans. Yet funny enough, one of the main reasons was one that players used to admire: their lack of communication. Man, Rockstar is like that one uncle that you might not see for a while, but when you do, he's always the life of the party, lol. And although that can be great for single-player games that don't require much communication or support after release, what happens when the developer continues that approach with online titles that do? Well, sadly we know that answer in both Red Dead and GTA Online, when the game continues to give players activation errors every time they try to launch it, or your game's having a fatal crash every time you try to fast travel, or every time you enter a stable with your horse, the game decides to freeze you out. And on Grand Theft Auto Online side, when your game is constantly stuttering because it can't handle over 150 FPS and the menu to lower the FPS and set a limit to it doesn't really do so, or when customizing your MOC cap, the game decides to permanently delete any vehicles you have available, including jets, and of course everyone's favorite God mode glitch, allowing players to become invincible and go around griefing and killing everyone and everything they come across with no ways of being stopped. These are just a few glitches from both of these games that Rockstar is yet to communicate or take any action against. In online games, the developer very much plays the role of a police officer. It is their duty to create guidelines and make sure players abide them. For those who don't, modders, hackers, griefers, to be punished appropriately to prevent them from ruining other players' experience. Well, what happens when said police officer is not just asleep on the job, but not even present, incapable, or just unwilling to punish those who break the rules? Well, Grand Theft Auto Online clearly shows that. If you were to join any PC lobby in GTA Online, it's not a matter of if or when you'll see a mother, cause chances are they will already be there, being blown up non-stop, being locked in a cage, having the whole world being turned upside down and being hunted down non-stop. May sound bad, but it's a child's play in comparison to what comes later. Modders would gain the ability to corrupt players' profiles, kick them from the lobby, and crash their games. Even worse, because GTA Online uses player-to-player for lobbies instead of client servers, it means everybody in a lobby can see everyone else's IP if they know where to look. It makes players volatile to doxing, which is a real-life crime and can get people into a world of trouble. Given that over 25% of players are yet to reach the age of 18, it's no wonder to see those types of things take place. But what's more infuriating is that there's no one there to stop them. At some point you stop being as angry with the modders as you are with the developer who refuses to put in the resources necessary to fix those issues. Criminals, modders, hackers, they'll always be a thing. That's why you need a force that is capable of dealing with them and preventing them from hurting others. Rockstar clearly shows that they are not willing to protect their players, and although a lot of people lost respect for them, and rightfully so, their name still means something. People knew that a project associated with Rockstar's name and reputation would have the highest level of quality put behind it. Or so everyone thought. But in November 11, 2021, that opinion would take a drastic change, as Rockstar would release a trilogy edition of their most popular legacy games, GTA 3, GTA Vice City, and Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, all remade with modern graphics and technology for the new generation of consoles and players. Or so they said, as in reality players would receive something very different. Come release date, the Rockstar Games launcher would break for 2 whole days, meaning anyone who had just bought the game would have no access to it. However, on consoles, it was a completely different story. The game was in a state that can only be described as unplayable. Game-breaking glitches would flood across all 3 titles. Random explosions, missing textures, invisible roadblocks, and things that are almost impossible to describe. Bugs that have never been seen before in any other game in history. And there's a very simple explanation for it. They ported these games from renderware, an engine that hasn't been used since the early 2000s, directly into Unreal Engine 4. For that reason, the entire world randomly just starts falling apart. Players would constantly fall through the environment. The physics would constantly clash with each other, and better yet, due to the rushed port, the games would struggle massively to hit even 30 FPS on most platforms. Not to mention, they looked horrible, especially Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Models looked like they'd come directly from the Saints Row reboot. The rain and lack of fog were extremely problematic also. They had altered the core gameplay of how you shoot weapons with new animations that felt both extremely clunky and unwieldy. Not surprising, given that these games were never originally created to support these types of changes. The games would receive overwhelmingly negative reviews across all platforms, though it's hardly surprising given the games were recreated by a mobile game developer with a staff of 20 people. And the worst part of it all is what Rockstar did right before these remasters came out. They would send out cease and desist letters to modders who were upgrading these games, creating free modes for the community to enjoy, and Rockstar would also remove all of the classic variants of these games from the game stores. Several days after the horrific reception of the remasters, they would release a post saying that the updated versions of these classic games did not launch in a state that meets our own standard of quality. A post that was genuinely met with laughter from the community, as by this point Rockstar had become the biggest laughingstock of 2021. Rockstar's perfect resume that they had built for years was destroyed and obliterated in one fell swoop. They were no longer that shining diamond that reflected perfect quality. Instead, they had now become just like everyone else, releasing half-assed games, unfinished and raw, just for a quick cash grab. Many players' trust was completely lost and their reputation was severely damaged. However, destroying these classic games was nothing compared to what they were about to inflict on their currently supported ones. Starting with Grand Theft Auto Online, the vehicles were the first to get hit. First, Rockstar would remove a total of 186 vehicles from the game, making it impossible for you to purchase or acquire them. Later, they would significantly lower selling prices of vehicles, as if you sell a second vehicle, you'll do so at 50% of its value, which will be lowered even further to 20% on the third one, and a measly 5% of the actual sale price for your fourth and all future sales. Then, they would also nerf payphone hit missions, increasing their cooldown from 20 to 48 minutes, before also reducing their payouts from $85,000 to $45,000, almost twice as less. However, that would be nothing compared to what they do to the Cayo Perico heist. First, they would massively increase its cooldown from 10 minutes to 2 hours and 24 minutes for solo players, a massive increase, unlike the payouts, which would be decreased significantly, 30% less than what they used to be, while the setup fee would be increased by 300%, going from 25k to 100,000, making this one great heist completely pointless to beat. And while Rockstar was busy ruining GTA Online, they would completely abandon their Red Dead project. the ever-evolving world of Red Dead Online would be stopped and completely left behind at the end of 2021. And after 2 years of underwhelming updates, the Red Dead community would create the hashtag #SaveRedDeadOnline movement as a cry for support to Rockstar. Instead, they would be completely ignored before an eventual community update letting them know that the game will no longer receive any major updates or content. No new roles, no outlaw passes, not even a new hat or a pair of boots. Nothing, absolutely no content has been given to Red Dead Online outside of Telegram missions since 2021, breaking the hearts of many loyal fans who passionately supported the game for many years. For Red Dead players, the lack of content truly poisoned them. Hashtag #SaveRedDeadOnline was their cry for help, their attempt to receive a cure, but instead of giving them one, Rockstar just shot them in the face. And things aren't that good when it comes to GTA Online either. Sure, they're receiving updates, but every update comes with a huge nerf or a removal of already existing content. I think it's fair to say that in the last year alone, Rockstar has done far more harm than good to GTA Online and its players. And although all of these reasons we've mentioned are more than enough to destroy their reputation, there is one more thing that truly put the nail on the head, and that is their subscription service, GTA Plus. Simply put, pay $6 a month, now increased to $8 a month, and you'll get free money, free vehicles, huge discounts on property, and significantly better rewards from heists and missions, to say the least. It also introduces the Vinewood Club, available for everyone. It allows players to take a look at rotating vehicles, including the 186 ones that were removed. However, it is only GTA Plus members that will have access to test drive and buy these said vehicles, leaving the rest to just stare and watch. It also gives players the highest loot available for both the casino and Cayo Perico update, meaning you receive a lot more money than the rest. These types of benefits change the entire game structure. The game becomes entirely pay to win, and it separates players drastically to lords and peasants. A system that was designed entirely for Grand Theft Auto 6 Online. The only reason it was introduced in GTA 5 first is so it can get through the controversy and get people used to it. However, it is in my personal belief that this will kill GTA 6 Online and turn it into a massive failure that will cost Rockstar millions of dollars in the end. Because when you have a community hooked on a game where they've actually spent years playing it, leveling up their character and unlocking different weapons and tools, it's going to be hard for them to quit, even if the developer starts mistreating them. We've seen that exact story in Payday 2 and real life. It's a lot easier to not enter a toxic relationship than it is to leave an already existing one. However, when a developer releases a new product and tries to get away with the same scummy tactics that they used on their community in their previous game, this happens. Because although players may be willing to stomach the abuse the developers throw at them when they're attached to a certain property, when a new one comes out fresh with no attachment or commitment, they're unlikely to make that same mistake again, as shown once more. And plus, as many people as I've heard being excited about GTA 6, I haven't heard one being excited for GTA 6 Online, so that's another thing that needs to be acknowledged. Because honestly, when that online mode arrives, it's either gonna be the biggest cash grab or the biggest failure in gaming history. Only time will tell. But until next time, this has been Wild Goat, and thank you all so very much for watching.